Good morning, students. Here we come up with the gross anatomy of ulnar artery. So in the gross anatomy of ulnar artery, first the ulnar artery is a branch of brachial artery which will be taking place, this branching pattern will take place exactly 1 centimeter below the band of elbow, or else this ulnar artery will take its origin from brachial artery exactly at the level of the neck of the radius. Similarly, as we had seen in discussion of the radial artery. So therefore, in order to understand, let us first draw the radius bone. This will be the radius bone. And in order to draw and understand, we need to draw radius and ulna both. So therefore, if we try and draw ulna on this side, here, as ulnar artery is medial to the radial artery, as ulnar artery is medial to the radial artery, we try and draw these two bones, ulna and the radius bone. So therefore, this is ulna, this is radius, and we try and show two muscles. The muscle which covers anterior surface of the radius, flexor pollicis longus. So therefore, the flexor pollicis longus, we just show how this muscle is taking origin from the radius. This is flexor pollicis longus. Another muscle which takes its origin from the anterior and medial surface of upper 3/4, that is flexor digitorum profundus. That muscle we show flexor digitorum profundus. So here we just show the origin of flexor digitorum profundus. And now we try and complete this diagram with interosseous membrane. So therefore, here we can show the interosseous membrane fibers. Similarly, we show in the lower 1/4, we will show the pronator quadratus muscle. So therefore, this we show it as the pronator quadratus. So here we show this as rectangular fibers, pronator quadratus. And just below this pronator quadratus, we will show the pisiform bone. At this level, we are going to show the pisiform bone. So this completes our bony landmarks. Now, our ulnar artery, for example, here, this will be the brachial artery. Here, if I just show this brachial artery stem, and then this is dividing into, this is the radial branch. This will be serving as radial branch, and over here, this will serve as ulnar branch. So this is the ulnar artery. And here, we will darken this, we give some color on this side, and we show this as the ulnar artery. So therefore, our ulnar artery course, lower down, we show that it is lying radial side to the pisiform bone. Radial to pisiform bone, it will be lying ulnar artery. And this ulnar artery then will divide into two, 1 and 2. So one branch will be superficial, where it will serve and it will pass into the superficial palmar arch. This will be deep branch, so it will pass into the deep palmar arch. This is the entire course of ulnar artery. And here we are going to name this. So first ulnar artery, then we are going to name this as brachial artery, and we are going to name this as radial artery, and now we are going to trace the entire course. The origin of ulnar artery, or its commencement of ulnar artery, will be from brachial artery at the level of the neck of the radius, or 1 centimeter below the bend of the elbow. After taking its origin, the ulnar artery will curve in such a way that it will be lying exactly on the ulnar side, anterior to the ulnar bone. This ulnar artery now, in the upper 1/3 of its course, is lying deep to the superficial flexor muscles of the front of forearm. That means it will be lying deep to pronator teres, the flexor digitorum superficialis, the flexor carpi radialis, the palmaris longus, etc. So these superficial group of flexor group of front of the forearm muscles will cover the ulnar artery upper 1/3. What about the lower 2/3? Lower 2/3, the ulnar artery is covered by skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia. So therefore, upper 1/3 in the relations, upper 1/3 anteriorly, the ulnar artery is related to the superficial group of the muscles of front of forearm. Very simple. Lower 2/3 anteriorly, ulnar artery is related to skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia. Now comes the deep relation. You can see the diagram and tell me the deep relations will be the ulnar artery is lying on which muscle? Here we have drawn it in the background. The muscle which is covering anterior surface of the ulna and medial surface of the ulna, flexor digitorum profundus. So the muscle which is covering, which we had drawn previously on the ulna, flexor digitorum profundus, will form deep relation to the ulnar artery. Very simple. And now comes the most important medial and lateral relation of ulnar artery, which is many times asked as MCQs or one mark question answer. Here, please note down, medially ulnar artery is related with two structures. Number one, the first structure that is related medially will be one nerve, and that nerve will be ulnar nerve. This is ulnar nerve. And medial to ulnar nerve, it is related with one muscle. So I will just show the tendon of this muscle, and the name of this muscle which is inserted in pisiform bone is flexor carpi ulnaris. This is many a times asked in MCQ. So ulnar nerve and flexor carpi ulnaris are related medial to ulnar artery. Now the structure which is related lateral to ulnar artery, here where my hand is there, the structure which is related will be flexor digitorum superficialis muscle. Flexor digitorum superficialis muscle, which we are not going to draw right now, will be related lateral to ulnar artery. So note down one thing. So if I just draw this in dotted form, this is flexor digitorum superficialis. So during dissection, when we dissect at the level of the flexor retinaculum, just proximal to it in front of the wrist joint, we will see that the structures that are related within this area will be the ulnar artery, medial to ulnar artery will be ulnar nerve and flexor carpi ulnaris muscle, tendon. And lateral to ulnar artery will be flexor digitorum superficialis tendons. So therefore, this serves as an important area or relations of ulnar artery with respect to its medial structures and with respect to lateral structure. So here we finish the relations. Now, this ulnar artery, it will pass superficial to flexor retinaculum on the radial side of pisiform bone. Then in the palm, it will divide into deep branch and superficial branch. The superficial branch of ulnar artery will anastomose with the radial artery to form, with the superficial branch of radial artery to form superficial palmar arch. And the deep branch of ulnar artery will anastomose with the deep branch of the radial artery to form the deep palmar arch. That is why we have shown this. So here we are showing this as the deep palmar arch. So here we will show this as deep palmar arch. So this is how the termination of the ulnar artery will take place. How does ulnar artery terminate? In the hand, in the palm, as it passes medial to pisiform bone, superficial to flexor retinaculum, it divides into superficial and deep branches, which will respectively, it will anastomose with the superficial and deep branches of radial artery to form superficial palmar arch and deep palmar arch. Now the branches. Branches, very interesting. We take one by one as it comes in sequence during dissection. The first branch will be, number one, it goes like this, anterior ulnar recurrent branch. So let us name this as anterior ulnar recurrent, and it will pass upwards in front of medial epicondyle, where it will anastomose with inferior ulnar collateral branch to form anastomosis of elbow joint. So anterior ulnar recurrent, you just write it as it will pass in front of the medial epicondyle of the humerus to anastomose with inferior ulnar collateral artery. Second branch will be, the second branch also it will follow but it will be below the anterior ulnar recurrent. So the name of this branch will be posterior ulnar recurrent artery, and this posterior ulnar recurrent artery will pass posterior to the medial epicondyle, where it will anastomose with the superior ulnar collateral artery. So it will also take part in the anastomosis at the elbow joint. So in short, anterior ulnar recurrent artery in front of medial epicondyle of the humerus, it will travel. The posterior ulnar recurrent artery will travel behind the medial epicondyle of the humerus. Third branch, which is very interesting, will be, I am showing it over here. This is the third branch, and the name of this third branch is common introitious artery. So first let us name this as third branch, common introitious artery. This is the third branch of ulnar artery. This common introitious artery will be branching from ulnar artery just above the level of upper border of introitious membrane. Immediately after branching, this common introitious artery will divide into two branches, anterior introitious artery and posterior introitious artery. Anterior introitious artery will pass on anterior surface of introitious membrane. So if I draw this artery, this will be the anterior introitious artery traveling on anterior surface of introitious membrane. Posterior introitious artery, I will draw like this. I want to show that it passes posterior to introitious membrane. But how it will pass posterior to introitious membrane? Remember, I told you, common introitious artery is a branch of ulnar artery at the upper border of introitious membrane. That means there is a small gap which is present between upper border of introitious membrane and oblique cord. That oblique cord which is present beneath the radial tuberosity and ulnar tuberosity. If I show the oblique cord at this level, this is where the oblique cord will be attached. It is connecting the area below the radial tuberosity on radius bone with the ulnar tuberosity on the ulna. So this is the oblique cord. So between upper border of introitious membrane and oblique cord, there is a space. Through that gap, the posterior introitious artery will pass posteriorly in the forearm. So it will travel posterior to introitious membrane in the extensor compartment of forearm. That is posterior introitious artery. Anterior introitious artery, now if you trace this anterior introitious artery, it is traveling on anterior surface of the introitious membrane, lying deep to the flexor group of muscles of front of forearm. Then at the level of lower border of introitious membrane and upper border of pronator quadratus, remember here if I show this and name this, this is pronator quadratus muscle. So there is a gap between lower border of introitious membrane and upper border of pronator quadratus. Through this gap, the anterior introitious artery will enter the posterior compartment. It will enter the posterior compartment. That means through the lower border of introitious membrane and the upper border of pronator quadratus, the anterior introitious artery will pass posteriorly. And posteriorly already posterior introitious artery is present, so it will join with the posterior introitious artery to form dorsal carpal arch or posterior carpal arch. This is the course of anterior introitious artery. So this anterior introitious artery will again pass between the introitious membrane and the pronator quadratus into the posterior compartment. Now, before it passes into posterior compartment, this anterior introitious artery will give a branch. Here, I am showing this. It will give a branch in front of pronator quadratus. Coming up. So, therefore, this anterior introitious artery is giving a branch in front of pronator quadratus, in front, towards the lower end of radius and ulna. And here, it will form anterior carpal arch or palmar carpal arch, because here it is going to receive a branch which is coming from deep palmar arch, and this branch is a recurrent branch from deep palmar arch, and similarly it will receive one branch coming from the radial artery, another branch which is coming from ulnar artery. And these two branches which are coming from radial ulnar artery, they are the palmar carpal branch of radial artery, palmar carpal branch of ulnar artery. So this anastomosis which is formed over here, this is the anastomosis in front of lower end of the radius and ulna, is called palmar carpal anastomosis or palmar carpal arch or anterior carpal arch. And here we are going to mark this as palmar carpal arch, or it is also known as anterior carpal arch. So once again, should be very clear, the anterior interosseous artery is passing in front of anterior surface of interosseous membrane, and it is basically lying between flexor pollicis longus and flexor digitorum profundus muscles, deepest muscles of the front of the forearm. Then it will pass in the posterior compartment. Where it will pass, how it will pass? Between the gap, in the gap between interosseous membrane and pronator quadratus, it will pass posteriorly. Where posteriorly it will anastomose with the posterior interosseous artery in the posterior compartment of the forearm. But before it passes posteriorly, it will give a branch anteriorly, this branch. And this branch anteriorly, it is a branch of anterior interosseous artery, where it will meet recurrent branch coming from the deep palmar arch, and also it will receive a superficial palmar branch of radial artery and superficial palmar branch of ulnar artery to form the palmar carpal anastomosis or anterior carpal arch. This much is about anterior interosseous artery. Now posterior interosseous artery, if we want to trace the posterior interosseous artery behind the interosseous membrane, here it is passing behind the interosseous membrane. So that posterior interosseous artery, now please come on this side. If I just want to trace it, this is the posterior interosseous artery. Here it will meet the anterior interosseous artery. Remember anterior interosseous artery, how it is passing in the posterior compartment between interosseous membrane and pronator quadratus muscle. So here, if you name this as posterior interosseous artery, remember this is in the posterior compartment, posterior to the interosseous membrane. Here, this is the anterior interosseous artery which is passing in the posterior compartment between interosseous membrane and pronator quadratus. And here also it will receive one branch from radial, another from ulnar. So this will be dorsal carpal branch of radial artery, dorsal carpal branch of ulnar artery. So if I write over here this branch, dorsal carpal branch of radial artery, this is what I will write, this dorsal carpal branch of radial artery. Here the ulnar, this will be the dorsal carpal branch of ulnar artery. So dorsal carpal branch of radial artery with dorsal carpal branch of ulnar artery with posterior interosseous artery, and this is the anterior interosseous artery. Together, this plexus which is formed will be known as the dorsal carpal anastomosis, or it will be known as posterior carpal anastomosis. So this is how posterior interosseous artery is terminating in the posterior compartment of forearm or posterior to interosseous membrane, where it will meet the anterior interosseous artery which is passing from anterior compartment through the gap between interosseous membrane and pronator quadratus, and it will meet on either side dorsal carpal branch of the radial artery and dorsal carpal branch of ulnar artery to form posterior carpal anastomosis, or it will form dorsal carpal arch, posterior carpal arch or dorsal carpal arch, posterior carpal arch or dorsal carpal arch. So this is how the anterior and posterior interosseous artery, the entire course is there. But here this posterior interosseous artery, as it is traveling down on posterior side of the interosseous membrane, it will give a branch which will participate in the anastomosis around elbow joint. The name of this branch will be the interosseous recurrent artery. So this is interosseous recurrent artery, which is a branch of posterior interosseous artery which will participate in anastomosis of elbow joint. Where does it go, interosseous recurrent artery? It will pass posterior to lateral epicondyle of humerus. The interosseous recurrent artery, which is a branch of posterior interosseous artery, will pass posterior to the lateral epicondyle of the humerus. Now coming back, Therefore, here the branches of ulnar artery, number 1 anterior ulnar recurrent, number 2 posterior ulnar recurrent, number 3 common introosseous artery, in which we have traced the anterior introosseous artery and posterior introosseous artery both. 3 branches till common introosseous artery. Anterior and posterior introosseous arteries are branches of common introosseous artery. Now branch number 4 and branch number 5. What are 4 and 5? Very simple. 4 and 5 will be, if I consider this as branch number 4, palmar carpal branch of ulnar artery, palmar carpal branch number 4. It will participate in anterior carpal arch or the palmar carpal arch. So this is palmar carpal branch of ulnar artery, and branch number 5 will be dorsal carpal branch. Dorsal carpal branch. Remember the dorsal carpal branch which I have explained here? That will participate in the posterior carpal arch or dorsal carpal arch. So dorsal carpal branch of ulnar artery, that is branch number 5. So branch number 4 and 5, very simple. 1, palmar carpal branch of ulnar artery, that is branch number 4, and branch number 5 will be dorsal carpal branch of ulnar artery. So these are the 5 branches. Once again, anterior ulnar recurrent, posterior ulnar recurrent, common introosseous artery, then palmar carpal branch and dorsal carpal branch. And branch number 6, if we want to discuss, they all are muscular branches. They are muscular branches. Branch number 6 means muscular branches which are supplying to the deep muscles of the front of the forearm. Now, after discussing the branches of ulnar artery, these are the branches of ulnar artery, we come to the 2 carpal arches. Now, there are 2 carpal arches which already I have discussed, anterior carpal arch or palmar carpal arch and posterior carpal arch or dorsal carpal arch. Now, these 2 carpal arches are present as anastomosis around wrist joint. They are known as anastomosis around wrist joint. So that means at the lower end, in front of the lower end of radius and ulna, please note down over here, in front of the lower end of the radius and ulna, there will be formation of anterior carpal arch or palmar carpal arch. How does it form? By 4 arteries. 1 artery coming from above, that is a branch of anterior introosseous artery, branch of anterior introosseous artery. 1 artery coming from below, that is recurrent branch of the deep palmar arch, the recurrent branch. Then the 2 arteries which are coming transversely from transverse directions. 1, palmar carpal branch of radial artery, another palmar carpal branch of ulnar artery. So these 4 arteries will form the palmar carpal arch or anterior carpal arch, which is lying in front of lower end of the radius and ulna. From this, there will be various branches which will supply to the lower end of the radius ulna, and also it will supply the carpal bones. Similarly, please come on this side here. So this is the dorsal carpal arch or posterior carpal arch which is present on dorsum of the carpus or posterior to carpus or dorsum of the carpal bones or posterior to carpal bones. How it is formed? It is formed by a branch coming from above, posterior introosseous artery. From below, the anterior introosseous artery. Remember the anterior introosseous artery, because here we have seen the anterior introosseous artery. Basically from anterior side it will pass in posterior side between introosseous membrane and pronator quadratus. Similarly, 1 artery, posterior introosseous artery coming from above, anterior introosseous artery coming from below, and transversely from either side, dorsal carpal branch of radial artery and dorsal carpal branch of ulnar artery. Together these 4 arteries on the posterior side of the carpal bones will form dorsal carpal arch or posterior carpal arch. Now remember this anterior and posterior carpal arch, that is palmar carpal arch and dorsal carpal arch, the formation by 4 arteries, it is asked in MCQs or 1 mark question answer. Discuss the, write in 1 sentence, 1 mark question answer, the formation of the palmar carpal arch, or write in one sentence the formation of the dorsal carpal arch. So you need to understand, basically very simple, the anterior carpal arch and posterior carpal arch, 1 mark question answer. So here we finish the entire ulnar artery. Thank you very much.